Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Hulkbuster, The Battle for Wakanda. This is an Infinity War set. I'm not like a huge Marvel guy, but I really like the look of the Hulkbuster, and I wanted to compare it to some of the other Lego Hulkbuster-esque sets that we got, just to see how it stacks up, see what they changed, because these Lego sets are like 2 or 3 years old now. But let's get started. Okay, so before I get to reviewing the figures and the mechs separately from each other, I always think it's important for mechs especially to show scale compared to other things. So here it is compared to some minifigures. I want to kind of take this figure and put him like right up next to it. He's about up to the knee. And then taking the figures out of the way, I actually want to show it compared to 2 different mechs. So the first one I want to show it compared to is a set that's relatively similar. As far as scale goes, this one is, I believe, slightly taller, not by much. I'm going to do at least one more, which is this one right here. They both have a similar style because they're both supposed to be Iron Man mechs. But yeah, just one more thing to compare it to. So I'm just going to go over the things that I really like about this and dislike about it. I'm not going to try and cover every minute detail. Let's start with stickers, because the stickers on this set were annoying. Like, they definitely work good for detail. I like that. But there's just so many. I wish that they would have done prints for most of these. But, you know, Lego sets tend to, for some reason, prefer to have stickers. And I guess that's just the way it is. Like, it's not the way I like it, but that's just the way that they decided to do it. So the next thing I want to cover is probably something that's even more important than the stickers, and that's the limbs of the mech. Can you pose it good? Can you play with it well? Is it gonna all of a sudden break? Is the leg gonna fall off? So I say let's start with the arms. I mean, we could really start anywhere, but I think that's a good place to go. With the elbows, we have a little bit of a weird design, but a better design than they chose for the other mech. We have a rotating wrist. We have elbows that are extremely bulky, and I really like this. It's probably my favorite part of the mech, but just because I feel like elbows go a long way in shaping the overall presence of a mech. What in the world? I'm the worst person to be moving this mech around, I think. I don't even remember what I was doing. Oh yeah, the shoulders. Okay, so the shoulders are just good. I like them. I guess the only thing left on the actual arm would be just the repulsor right here. I like the cloudy look they give this. Just to compare the 2 colors, this one's clearly a lot more translucent. I do like the hand build of this one a lot better. Like, it looks more like an actual hand. This one looks more rectangular, and so it's different. Then with the knees, this one doesn't have any knee movement, and this one also doesn't really. You can force it. There's actually no movable joints in this. The only way you would be able to move it at all. Oh, and I'm breaking it. Of course I am. Wow. Okay. The only way you would be able to do any movement is to completely unsnap this, which obviously you don't want to do because now it has like no support at all. And it also looks a little weird. Oh my goodness. I definitely do not recommend snapping this apart. I thought maybe, you could just for a quick pose or something, you could potentially snap it apart, but I don't recommend it now because I've found out that will quickly break the entire leg and cause issues. Oh my goodness. My only problem with the posability probably has to do with the knees, but really I don't know if that's avoidable or not. Like, do you risk it being unstable? Because it already in some ways is. Like, you have to get it in a very specific pose to feel stable. Did I just break it? What in the world? And another thing I want to point out is how the arms move. Like, obviously I've already covered the elbows a little bit, but this one has no elbow movement. They just decided to have it twist right here, whereas, oh my goodness, whereas with this one, they went the route of having elbows and also having it still twist, but in a different area. They've clearly improved, I have to say. Like, I really like that they've changed up things in a mostly positive way. Okay, so the last 3 things before I get back to just reviewing this is the overall shape, which is a lot bulkier here. Obviously, I already mentioned the shoulders, but the actual chest itself is built out a lot better here. And the reason for that is going to be the cockpit area here. And I know that I'm missing this part. I apologize for that. The claws on these always break for me. I don't know why. And they decided to make it really easily accessible. Meanwhile, this one is just accessible from this right here, just the very top. And they did that in order to preserve the shape that this one actually loses because of that. Now, it's more accessible. I like that, but it's a trade-off. Do you want a better looking mech slightly, or do you want it to be easier to get to the inside? I don't really know which one I prefer, to be honest, because sometimes if I'm playing with one, I definitely want this one. But if I'm displaying it or doing cool poses with it, then I'm going to obviously prefer this one. And so they did the way the minifigures set in here completely different. Well, really, in this one, it stands or he stands, Bruce does. So I like that look a lot. The only thing, of course, is that you'll always see his hands a little bit, but that is also a problem with this one, and I'll show that as soon as I get him over here. As far as I can see, no matter where you put his hands, they're always going to be slightly shown. You can potentially maybe put his hands up. Let's see if that works. Okay, that's better. I mean, you can still see him in there. Maybe if you take his hair off? Okay, that works better. I mean, he's still visible from in there, especially in the right light. The good thing is he's wearing a little bit of a darker outfit, but if you get somebody with a much lighter colored outfit, then you're going to be able to see them very clearly. Okay, I think that the last thing I want to compare is the level of detail in the back. Now, I actually want to compare, I have to look this up later, but I want to compare the prices between these two because the level of detail is insanely good on this one and a lot worse here. But as you can see, there's a lot more rounded pieces, there's flat pieces. They were able to do a lot more coverage here. That's why I really like showing sets side by side, because you see the difference in 2 years, they improved so much on this. Like, this looks way better. Now, the last thing I do want to mention is the build process. I kind of want to try to rate the build process because I feel like that's one of the most fun parts of getting a Lego set, of why you get these over other toys. So I think the build process was a 7 out of 10. The reason I don't give it an 8 or a 9 is because it didn't hold my attention all the way through the build. And I'm not sure if that's because you're building 2 legs or what it is, but for some reason I ended up waiting until the next morning and finishing it. It was fun, but it didn't captivate me the way some builds do, where you end up staying up all night building everything and getting no sleep. So it didn't do that for me, but it still provides an amazing build experience. Okay, so now we're finally getting to the minifigures. I want to start with the 2 most generic ones because you just get 2 of the Chitauri. So they're basically just army builders. So if you want to collect a bunch of Chitauri, it's really cool to be able to get those, but they're not like very unique compared to other ones. I'm pretty sure you get these in a bunch of other sets. So they're good to have, but they're not like super unique or anything. This one does have claws, that's pretty cool, and this one comes with the arms. So the printing does look quite good, but as far as I know, I don't think there's anything different as far as like across from other Marvel sets from like a couple years back, but I have to say they do look very good overall. This set also comes with 2 main character figures, the first of this being Bruce Banner here. He has 2 faces. He has his sort of trying to Hulk out but really can't face, and he has like a normal sort of expression as his second face. The character is pretty simplistic. Like, he looks like any generic person in a city, but of course that's what he's supposed to look like. So he's not like super special as far as like, he's not a full-blown superhero. He's not hulked out, anything like that, but he looks good for what he's trying to represent. And for our last figure, we have Okoye, probably my favorite figure in the set for a couple of reasons. One, she's a main character, unlike these guys, and she has very similar printing detail levels to these guys. I do like the gold a little bit better, I will say, just how reflective that is. That's quite cool. I'm just now noticing that. But her weapon's also really stinking cool. There's a look at the back printing if you want to see that. And she also has like a shoulder piece, which I think is really nice and adds value, at least to me, to a figure. And yeah, that's why she's my favorite figure. Not much else to say. I think that's it for the figures. Okay, and that is it for my review on the Hulkbuster set. I pretty much said all I wanted to say. The build, again, was a 7 out of 10, and I would probably give the actual whole build and the minifigures combined a 7 out of 10 as well. The figures may be a 6, though. I don't know. I'm kind of fluctuating between those just because most of the figures are, well, 2 of the figures are just sort of army building figures. Like, you want to collect a lot of them. They're more bulk. It's like getting a stormtrooper in a Star Wars set. And the other 2 figures, the only one that is really significant to me is Okoye. Bruce Banner is a very normal looking minifigure, if that makes any sense. I mean, he's just wearing like a suit of sorts. I do want to say that I apologize for not uploading this Friday. I did say that I would do that. I was about to start recording, and then I just got way too stinking lazy. So I apologize for that. I will try to be a little more consistent. I'm not going to make any promises as far as dates go, though. I meant to not do that when I came back, so I will not be doing that anymore. The next Lego sets I'm going to be reviewing are one of these 2 Lego sets. So if you want to decide which one I build, then I'm good with that. If not, then I will just toss a coin or something. And I will see you guys in the next one. I have to go rest my voice now because I am completely dead. This video took way too long.